Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of DGS. So, Tully has changed one of his statements and talked about they heard someone screaming, "Give that gun here." So, let's press to see what happens now. In other words, that scream and the gunshot were nearly simultaneous.
Yeah, that's right.
To be even more precise, just before the scream, we also heard a trembling voice.
If you don't want to be shot.
Give that gun here!
Bang! That's what it was like.
That was incredible reenactment. That was, quite an experience. Okay, but if you don't want to be shot, give that gun here. What? What? So, where did those voices come from?
Well, of course. It was from behind that door in the back.
The storeroom where the murder occurred, huh? That man's voice must have belonged to the victim, Mr. Hatch, correct?
That's alright. It sure was.
That's right, it sure was.
Which would mean you two recognize Hatch-san's voice, correct?
Eh? What do you mean?
Is that what it would mean?
That only seems natural.
No. We don't know this Hatch bloke.
A little too late now.
That the prosecutor over there was glaring daggers at us, so we had no choice but to answer yes.
If you value your lives, you'll testify accurately.
Yes, of course.
Of course, yes.
Yare yare. Just after that, you heard a gunshot ringing out through the shop. Then, you clumsily flung yourself over the desk and scattered the items upon it everywhere, correct?
It wasn't as clumsy as you all seem to think.
And we cleaned it all up proper afterwards. More importantly, that shopkeeper had the gun in his hand. If only he'd have fired first and screamed later.
Is that a new statement? Hatch-san had the pistol.
Yeah, I think they were probably pointing pistols at each other and having a glare-off. Cause just before he screamed, that old man said, "If you don't want to be shot."
Well, his voice was a kinda quivering, so I doubt he would have shot either way.
The shopkeep, Hatch, normally keeps a pistol on the shop desk, apparently. It's said that he's prepared to take a shot to the temple in order to protect the shop's pawned goods. Naturally, I mean his own temple. I can't help feeling that he was going about that protection in the wrong sort of way.
Well, that night he must have had that pistol trained on the killer. But I guess dragging his feet like that cost him, cause he was the one who ended up getting shot.
If he had the time to say hand over the pistol, I reckon it would have been better if he had just taken the shot right away.
So you heard the gunshot immediately after that scream, right?
Yeah, they were nearly simultaneous. Hand over the pistol.
Bang! Just like that.
These brothers are great. That's, quite the experience.
Then we heard the sound of someone collapsing. And then everything was dead silent from behind that door.
That's when we hurried to tidy up the desk.
So, you didn't end up opening the door to the storeroom, right?
That's right.
It went silent as the grave. Course we were scared. Besides, the door was locked and it wouldn't open.
I believe the door was locked from the inside, correct?
That's right, it sure was.
So we had no idea what was going on in that room.
Was there no way to tell what was going on in there without opening the door? For example, by looking through the keyhole or the little window.
We didn't even think of that.
Of that.
We don't remember anything
of the sort. We didn't have the time to know the small details.
It's because we don't notice the small details that we're small-time crooks.
But
someday we'll be big-time
crooks.
Forget it. The defendant was found unconscious next to the victim's corpse at the scene of the crime. That's true. Gina-san had fainted at the crime scene with the pistol in her hand. So what you're telling us is that you did not enter the storeroom, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
We couldn't have gotten in even if we wanted to.
Then you shot him, didn't you? Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Well, we feel really bad about it.
That's right. We were, honestly pretty shaken up, so...
Being shaken up doesn't give you any excuse to shoot people.
Besides, our minds were completely blank, see?
Having blank minds doesn't give you an excuse to shoot people.
Oh.
Anyway, we somehow managed to escape the crime scene, but I guess we must have looked awfully suspicious because the next thing we knew, we were being arrested.
And that's when the officer on patrol confiscated this from you, correct?
Well, that's how it goes.
But one thing has become clear here.
How can you be so sure?
That's because, yeah, that's right.
When we entered that pawn shop, the place was deserted.
By that time, the victim had already relocated to the storeroom. The defendant was pointing the gun at him, and the door had been locked from the inside. In other words, that night, these men could not have even met the shopkeep Hatch face to face. Ugh. Whoosh. Am I correct?
Yes, that's exactly it.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it, you bastard.
So then, the Templar brothers didn't meet Hatch-san. Is that really true? Where? Okay, I guess we're in the middle of just examining something now, so let's do that. I wanna...
It looks like there's a pretty big article on the back too, huh? Spies inside Ministry of Justice. Top secret information possibly leaked abroad.
That's Cyrus-chan for you. She can read difficult headlines like this one no problem. I mean, it's in English.
Correspondence between Great Britain and its allied nations was stolen and has been leaked to an enemy nation. I guess that's happening right now, huh?
Correspondence was stolen. How exactly does one go about stealing that sort of thing?
Personally, 3 different ways come to mind. You wanna try it, Nanahoku?
No, I'm not gonna try it. Maybe this was the case that Master Vortex mentioned yesterday.
Could be. Could be. Gregson kept bringing it up too.
Today's paper, morning paper. On the backside is an article about top secret government telegraph correspondence being stolen and leaked abroad. Telegraphed? So I guess we're gonna be talking to juror number 5 at some point about that? Maybe? What are we looking at now? The pistol. That's Gina... wait, that's Hatches. Okay, we're gonna look at the Templars. This is a cylinder with 6 bullet chambers. Of those 6, 5 of those are loaded with bullets.
Which means that just one was fired.
That's what it means.
Is that the bullet that shot Holmesy?
Yeah. As soon as he entered the shop, he was shot suddenly.
They'll pay for this.
Ooh. Okay, let's look at Hatches. No. Hatchson's pistol. The bullet chambers are empty.
Old Mr. Hatch always kept this pistol on the desk.
It seems that only one bullet was loaded into it.
Yep, to protect our pawn items.
That night, that bullet was fired and took Hatch-san's life. I wonder if he died protecting the pawn items until the very end. Okay, Kari. She left me a little note in here. It's really funny. She's like, this has nothing to do with plot advancement, but I'm doing it for my own satisfaction. You know what? It's okay. I'm happy that you're doing this stuff.
This is a set of scales, huh? Is this a symbol of a defense attorney?
Apparently. According to Susato-san, it stands for fairness in all things.
But this is the defense attorney's symbol, so... couldn't have gone ahead and put a big old not guilty on it?
I completely agree. Oh no, really? Are we gonna look at that? We're gonna look at that, aren't we?
Ah, I've seen this before. That is that kanji stuff, right? So this must be your name written here, right, Naruto-kun?
No, actually, that's not my name.
Taking things that don't belong to you is naughty, Naruto-kun.
First of all, this is a memento of my best friend. Secondly, if anyone took it, it was you, Iris-chan. Oh, snap, that's true!
What's up? You're awfully quiet.
There's too big a story here to tell right now. Let's save it for another time, okay? What else are we poking at? The Hound of the Baskervilles, huh?
Yeah, I'm really proud of it. I wrote it after looking through my papa's records. I wonder why Holmesy would tell me not to announce it.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't like the title or something. Maybe because he was close friend... Maybe he has a close friend named Baskerville-san.
Does that mean it'd be okay if I just change the title to The Hound of the Naruhodos?
I don't know. I'm one of Homesan's friends, too. The Hound of the Naruhodos! Oh, these are beautiful! These dialogue are beautiful! My god, bless you for translating this stuff. Good shit. Where am I hitting? The folder holder? The folder holder?
You clamp the 2 photos in here like... see? Like clay.
Then you look into the eye holes and you can see them in 3D, right?
The trick is getting the 2 photos lined up in there just right.
I don't know who thought it up, but it sure is an interesting little gadget. There's a latch? Ah, there's a latch. Whoa! Did you see that? It transformed! All I had to do was lift the little latch.
Well, that's kind of the whole point of the latch. Boys sure do love gadgets, huh?
being treated like a boy by a 10-year-old girl.
Anyway, this is a stereoscope.
Alright. I think that's all we had. Alright, let's go. So that's the end of their testimony, huh?
What's wrong, Naruhodo-kun? You're making a scary face. If you're tired, you can have some of my special herb tea.
Thank you. You might laugh at me for this, Iris-chan, since you're so good at thinking logically, but I still get the feeling those brothers are still hiding something important. I don't have any proof, though. It's just a feeling.
Ah. I think feelings can sometimes be incredibly logical.
Eh?
Those men expressions, their eye movements, the way they choose their words. You collect that information unconsciously and analyze it unconsciously. And before you know it, you arrive at the conclusion that they're suspicious. I'd trust that feeling if I were you.
Iris-chan. It's at times like this that I can't help forgetting which of us is the adult here. Alright, I think we're now presenting something. I hope this is actually played out right because I remember in the original script there was a slight error. I'm not sure if it's still on here, but if it is, there might be a weird cut at some point. So, it is the fourth statement? Let's see what happens here. There we go. Okay. Do I present this thing? Am I pushing the... Did I present the wrong crime scene photo? Don't tell me that's what it was. Oh my fucking god. Present crime scene photo. What the... I'm dumb. Okay, sorry. That night, the victim Hatch-san was holding a pistol, right?
That's right.
Make no mistake about it.
However, if you look at this crime scene photo, it's clear. Hatch-san wasn't holding a pistol at the time of his murder.
Huh?
That's ridiculous.
There's no mistaking that the victim's pistol is related to this case. The fact is that Mr. Hatch's pistol was indeed present at the scene of the crime. The weapon found in the defendant's hand, that was Mr. Hatch's pistol.
That's right. The pickpocket stole the victim's gun and shot him. Hand over the gun.
Bang! Like that.
Freeze! Right there, please.
Huh?
Let's say the crime occurred the way you described it in your testimony. That would create one large contradiction.
What? Contradiction?
Fascinating. In that case, you should be able to indicate what it is. What is the contradiction hidden in the witness's reenactment of the moment of the crime? Presenting the autopsy report. Also, the picture even shows it. He was shot from behind, not from the front. According to the witness's testimony... Oh, what? Did I present the wrong thing again? I did. I'm doing real bad. I don't have the dialogue for this. What the heck? What is the autopsy report then? I'm sorry, I don't have the mistake dialogue. I can't read Japanese. This is this is suffering. This is suffering. What the fuck? Where's the autopsy report then? Where's the autopsy? This is the autopsy report. I'm sorry! Envelopes! I think autopsy report! Kill me! Wait, what? It's freaking Gina's Oh my god, it's Gina's defense request! I can at least read that kanji! Oh my god, I'm so bad. I'm so bad. Please. Please, I'm dead. Let me die. According to the witness testimony, they heard someone scream, hand over the gun, and then a gunshot. And those two occurred almost simultaneously. Yes, indeed. If this testimony is the truth, then the two of them would have been facing each other when the crime occurred. However, the autopsy report states the following. The victim was shot in the back and died instantly. In other words, there's an obvious contradiction in your testimony.
Yeah! But we weren't making it up!
At the very least, when the murder occurred that night.
The shopkeep had the pistol in his hand! We definitely saw that!
You saw that pistol in his hand. That's what you just said, right?
We sure did, didn't we?
Wait, didn't they say they didn't see Hatch? These two have just clearly admitted it. That night, they saw the victim at the scene of the crime with the gun in his hand. Which would mean, on the night of the murder, these witnesses met the victim.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice job, you two. Order! 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 Witnesses! What on earth is the meaning of this?
No! It wasn't supposed to...
It would seem that you two didn't comprehend the warning I gave you earlier. By which I mean that lies would mean your death. You two are still determined to lie?
Sorry, I mean, the truth is we...
Don't! If we attack here.
Oh? So there was Was there a third person? Gil? It's about time you understood. You two do not have the option of remaining silent.
Let's just tell them already, Tully!
Haven't you figured it out yet? No matter how you try to hide them, lies will always be exposed.
Mm.
When the murder occurred, you two were with the victim at that pawn shop. The court orders you to testify about that fact.
Mm.
Give us a break here.
You ought to understand that this is your very last chance to tell the truth. And we'll listen to probably their last testimony in the next video. There were a lot of cuts, and I'm thinking maybe I'll just stick them at the end, because then you can see what the heck was going on off screen, because oh my god, the curse of not knowing Japanese really got to me for a bit there, and it really bogged us down a little. But we are done now. We'll listen to them in the next video, and I'll see you guys then.
It wasn't as clumsy as you all seem to think.
And we cleaned it all up proper afterwards. More importantly, that shopkeeper had the gun in his hand. If only he'd have fired first and screamed later.
Is that a new statement? Hatch-san had the pistol.
Yeah, I think they were probably pointing pistols at each other and having a glare-off. Because just before he screamed, that old man said, "If you don't want to be shot..."
Well, his voice was a kind of quivering.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of DGS. So, Tully has changed one of his statements and talked about they heard someone screaming, "Give that gun here." So, let's press to see what happens now. In other words, that scream and the gunshot were nearly simultaneous.
Yeah, that's right.
To be even more precise, just before the scream, we also heard a trembling No. We don't know this Hatch bloke.
A little too late now.
That prosecutor over there was glaring daggers at us, so we had no choice but to answer yes.
If you value your lives, you'll testify accurately.
Yes, of course.
Of course, yes.
Yare yare. Just after that, you heard a gunshot ringing out through the shop. Then, you clumsily flung yourself over the desk and scattered the items upon it everywhere, correct? Storeroom where the murder occurred, huh? That man's voice must have belonged to the victim, Mr. Hatch, correct?
That's alright. It sure was.
That's right, it sure was.
Which would mean you two recognize Hatch-san's voice, correct?
Eh? What do you mean?
Is that what it would mean?
That only seems natural.
Voice.
If you don't want to be a shot.
Give that gun here.
Bang! That's what it was like.
That was incredible reenactment. That was, quite an experience. Okay, but if you don't want to be shot, give that gun here. What? What? So, where did those voices come from?
Well, of course. It was from behind that door in the back.
The